Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Time Machine. I'm Harper, and today I'm drawing and painting a classic 80s punker, reading from my 1999 sketchbook journal about the time I actually got on stage at a TSOL show, plus seeing Black Sabbath play the night before, and even more music-related hogwash from the good old days. But before I get to the journal entry, let's go through a little preamble scramble to give some backstory and color so your brain engines can create a better movie in your head. I was in high school in the 80s, right in the middle of the Cold War, Ronald Reagan, and MTV. I was definitely not a punker. I mean, I'd heard a few songs from Black Flag, the Vandals, and the Misfits, but I really didn't know shit about it. As far as the music that I loved back then, I was more of a stoner or a rocker, but I didn't smoke weed. Hell, I didn't party at all. I wasn't really part of any scene, I guess. I was blissfully not cool. The only punk I knew back then was my buddy Bob Dog. He could skate a decent curb and tell you about bands like The Germs, The Damned, Bad Brains, and The Dead Kennedys, all of which I wouldn't discover until the late 90s. Bob was punk, and I was basically rock and roll. The summer after graduation, a bunch of us were playing basketball at a park. Bob and I got to talking about music and who we were listening to recently. I told him, the usual suspects. But lately I've also been listening to Public Enemy, Run DMC, Beastie Boys, and my little brother had just showed me a group called UTFO. He looked at me kind of sideways and said, "So you're digging into the rap music game now?" And I said, "Yeah, kind of weird, huh?" He gave a half smile and said, "Well, check this shit out," as we got into his Jetta. I think he had a Jetta, right? Anyway, he told me all about the new audio system he had just put in it. A Kenwood deck with a monster amplifier that had plenty of power for a set of mids, highs, and a 10-inch sub in the back. He turned it up to 11 and let it blast with the doors open in the park. Now imagine the rocker and the punker with big dumb smiles pasted on their faces, bobbing heads to the beats of Rodney O and Joe Cooley, K9 Posse, Eric B and Rakim, Tough Crew, and Schoolie D. "Hey man, I thought you said this video was about TSOL and Cold War punk rock. What the hell?" "Yeah, cool your jets, dude. We'll get there." Anyway, the hip-hop and rap sound was new, exciting, and revolutionary. And just like punk rock, it was the next soundtrack for teenage angst and rebellion. And later that year, when I heard NWA and Eazy-E for the first time, holy those dudes were hardcore and did not give a shit about your feelings. They had zero boundaries or filters, dropping F-bombs and rhymes about shooting guns, robbing banks, and bitches and hoes. Damn. Meanwhile, around the same time, Glenn Danzig bails out of the Misfits and was like, "Hey everybody, hail Satan." And I was like, cool. Alright, sorry, I'm all over the place. But to get back to what we were talking about, another band I heard about my junior year of high school was TSOL, True Sounds of Liberty. And I got this hot music scoop from a good friend of mine named Kim. Now, Kim and her BFF, Jen, were the coolest girls in school. Yeah, way cooler than me, and no offense, probably cooler than you too. They were all in on the new wave goth punk mod mashup scene. I'm talking about the hair, the clothes, and all the coolest music that dum-dums like me had never heard of. And as a quick sidebar to this sidebar, here's a sample of her coolness. In the summer of 1987, Kim also gave me a shitty homemade cassette of another groundbreaking debut record from an unknown band called Guns N' Roses. "I'm Casey Kasem. Keep your feet on the ground and keep reaching for the stars." Okay, stay on track, dude. I can't remember if the TSOL cassette that she let me borrow was Dance With Me or Beneath the Shadows, but either way, I was intrigued and then hooked. Oh boy, here we go. I can hear them rushing the stage now. Here comes the real punks. The shaved heads, the red suspenders, the East Coast hardcore crew, and the Southern California bone crushers. They'll be making a mosh pit out of stomping boots, punching fists, spiky hair, and leather jackets, and yelling at me, "Hey man, TSOL isn't real punk. It's like girl punk light at best." Dude, they've got a keyboard synthesizer in the band. That ain't punk rock. Alright guys, calm down. Like I said before, I'm not cool and I didn't know shit about your scene. I don't care what you want to name it. Punk, gothcore, cold wave. You can call it Lorax, fart, whipple, claptrap, scramble-a-doo for all I care. All I know is that I liked it. Okay, stay with me here. Now we've moved up to the year 1999. I'm pretty sure my buddy Rick had already moved to San Francisco by then, and I didn't think anybody else would want to go. So I went by myself. Going to a music show alone isn't as fun as with friends, but there was no way I was going to miss what I thought would surely be my last chance ever to see the original TSOL with Jack Grisham on vocals. And after all that, finally, here's the journal entry. That was an awful long build-up. This better be good. July 19th, 1999. We carry editions only, the dickhead at the counter says. Whatever the publisher printed last, they let them sell out. Probably for the movie release, I thought. Went to the bookstore to get a soft cover of Fight Club by Chuck Palahniuk. They didn't have any. Got a copy of Stick by Elmore Leonard instead. Been almost a week and I still haven't started it. Bought 4 more books since. Got some used Vonnegut for $2 a piece and a hardback Shakespeare collection of his greatest hits, complete with gold leaf edges and a built-in ribbon bookmark for 50 cents. Oh, check that. 5 books. Another one from 1979 about mopeds. Looks like it was stolen from an Albuquerque public school library. The checkout card is still in the pouch on the inside front cover. It's got great photos to use for postcards. I got it from the same estate sale where I paid $1 for a terrible black velvet clown painting. Framed, no less. The sale was at the old brick house in Mesa. They've got a pretty decent art gallery in the basement. I ducked in for a while when I was waiting for TSOL to go on stage at the Nile across the street. It was one of those big festival-style shows with a parade of 1,000 bands before the 1 or 2 that you paid your money to come and see. I got to the show with good timing. I saw DRI, UK Subs, and The Business before TSOL went on. Like I said, it was a huge lineup with about 20 bands, so by the time the headliners hit stage, most people were hot, tired, and already went home. The small venue was only about half full. I'd guess at about 50 or 60 people max. After all that waiting, the original lineup was finally on stage and trying to destroy the place. But the PA system sucked a whale so you couldn't hear the vocal mic for shit. Bummer, but I didn't care much. I was just happy to be there. I was right against the stage, and in between songs, I yelled up to Jack that we can't hear the vocals. Now get this. He says to me, "Yeah, this PA isn't ours and it sucks. Why don't you come up here on stage? Sounds better up here." And then into the mic he says to the stage crew, "Can we get this guy a chair? He can't hear the vocals." I shit you not. Now my first thought was, nah, it's cool, man, I'm fine. But then I thought, F that, this is a once-in-a-lifetime chance. And I climbed up on the stage. The crowd was all cheering and I mean, they weren't cheering for me, but you know, they were super excited. So I spent the second half of their set on stage with one of my favorite bands of all time, standing right next to Ron Emery and his guitar. I screamed along to all the songs right through to the end when they finished the set with Code Blue. Kids, do not listen to that song. You will definitely go to hell. Okay? All right, cool. It didn't really even hit me until I was driving home. Holy sh**. I was just on stage with True Sounds of Liberty. Fucking awesome! And 20 years later, I still fit in the shirt. That show was completely different from the one I went to the night before, Ozfest. It was another all-day show, only this one was outside at Desert Sky Arena, baking in the sun. I timed this one pretty great too, showing up at 7:30 with time to pee, find Rory and Eric, and get a beer just as Rob Zombie took the stage. Now, Rory and Eric had nice $70 seats, but my ticket was for lawn seating only, which is far as hell from the stage. At the entrance, they weren't tearing the ticket stubs off. They were just giving you a color-coded bracelet according to your ticket. So, those guys went in and found their spot, and then Eric came back out with both tickets, gave me one, and he and I walked back in. Nice little grift. Rob Zombie was cool, a great showman. He had topless ladies on the huge projection screens almost the whole time. Cool. Sabbath just flat out f***ing rocked. They sounded tight as hell and played everything I wanted to hear. Well, except for Sabbath Bloody Sabbath. But their set did include Into the Void, War Pigs, Iron Man, Children of the Grave, After Forever, NIB, Black Sabbath, and a bunch more. They had a dozen huge torches on stage with some killer pyrotechnics. Tony Iommi even played a spotlight solo. Totally old school heavy metal style. What a kick-ass show. I'd never seen Sabbath before either, so yeah, 2 huge must-see shows checked off the list in 2 days. For more hot sketchbook action, cool stories about art and life, and dad jokes, check out these rad videos right here. And if you thought this video was better than catching herpes from a public toilet seat, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and turn on notifications by clicking the bell icon so you'll never miss another sketchbook video right here on the Time Machine. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it.